earthquake that's in trouble now, the whole world.
I wonder if they'll be able to save everyone, though.
Well, if they don't, that's it for most of the world's population.
I guess so. And on that note, welcome to the season finale of Inside Between. I'm Angelina, also known as ALB.
And my name is Nicole Stamp, and we are your hosts. And we have so many amazing guests joining us live tonight. And we have a very special guest from LA via video chat. We have Jeanette McCurdy. Yay! So stay tuned, because you don't want to miss a single moment of tonight's show.
And have you answered our Twitter poll question this week? Our question is, which pairing do you ship the most? Vote now on Twitter @BetweenSeries.
I kind of ship us. Is that a thing?
I ship it.
I ship
I
us.
ship it.
Aw. So tonight is going to be full of spoilers for all of season 2. So if you haven't watched it yet, go catch up. It is online at citytv.com/between, and you can always watch it on demand.
All right, Nicole, so are you ready to do one final between in 60 seconds?
Oh, last time.
Single
I'm ready.
tier.
Single tier.
All right, let's start this finale special.
Back in the classiest kidnapping ever, Adam gets interrogated by creepy British villain and his henchmen. But don't worry, Adam just leaked that info to the entire world. Ronnie and Mark pull a fast one on Renee, and they get the vials back. Hurrah! Wiley goes to get Jason back from the Mennonites, but they don't want to let him go. Who can blame him? Look how cute his little face is. Yeah, it's almost time for the extraction. Go, Wiley, go! The gang's all here, and the gates to freedom are opening. But wait, Mark's not coming? And Tracy? And where's Wiley? Wait for her, you jerks! Doesn't look like they're quite free yet, but at least they got a change of clothes. Tests, and more tests. Protocol C7? That doesn't sound so good. At least it's softer than a coffee table. Horatio finally sets them free, but there's one little catch. They have to move away, they can't use the real names, they can never talk about Pretty Lake, they can never talk about the virus, and if they release any of this information, then they will face a fate worse than Franny's cow. So much for freedom. Hey, Uber Black, nice. Everyone's splitting up, time to update those long-distance plans, and Adam stirs the pot one more time. Daisy, release it all. Minister Miller was not happy about that. Cut to 6 months later, and the sweet joy of an actual grocery store with real food, and they all lived happily ever... Oh, that lady's puking up raspberry jam? No, it's red bile. It's happening again, the virus has escaped!
Oh, we were so close to a happy ending with that grocery store scene, and then I feel like that ending really calls for season 3. Oh, today is our finale episode of season 2 of Inside Between, and I wish you were here with us in the studio because we have so many amazing people hanging out. The place is buzzing with energy. Luckily, you get to see it all on camera. Now, the first person I'd like to say hello to is the executive producer of Between, David Cormican. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. That's a heck of an ending, hey?
You did it.
Well,
Pat
that's
yourself.
not me. It's a team behind all of
It's
this.
true. It's true. But I mean, it's amazing. I'm so excited.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we're pretty proud of this season. So
I know you can't really answer yet, but like season 3, come on.
fingers are crossed, and I hope that you guys are crossing them as well.
Oh, wonderful. Now, beside David on the couch, we have Mercedes Morris, who plays Renee on the show. She's back. Mercedes, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. We're so happy to have you. And I feel like Renee has really, things have changed for her. She's had some moments where she did things, but then some moments where she did really sweet things.
That's good. She should have her nice little character arc, you know?
I like that. It's nice. She's well-rounded.
Yeah, redeem herself somehow.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking of people who have redeemed themselves on the show, beside me on the sofa is Justin Kelly, who plays Chuck. Justin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. So happy to have you.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like you're the last person in the cast that we haven't met yet.
Yes, I think
So,
that's true. Yeah.
How does it feel to finally be
This
here?
is great. Yeah. No, it's really great to be here.
That's great. So I want to talk a little bit about Chuck. So Chuck Lotz, your character, has had this huge arc on the show where he started out as kind of the antagonist in many ways for season 1. He was this arrogant rich kid who was always pushing people around and sort of running everything. And in season 2, he's become a much more sympathetic and emotional character.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was something that actually got me really excited for season 2 as well. You know, reading that. He's just gone through so much, you know, and his whole family is basically gone. So he's, you know, Jason especially is, you know, the one, you know, character that he has left as in his family. So he's kind of trying to do whatever he can to help and to still, you know, be involved, especially because that's going to be really, you know, beneficial for him as well.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking with Chuck, I mean, his last name is Lotz, so he goes from Chuck Lotz
To
and
Chuck Nothing.
He's Chuck Loss. He's Chuck Nothing. So as an actor, when you're living that arc over the course of these 2 years, what do you do to sort of help, you know, project that story?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I mostly just sympathize with him quite a bit, and so it just felt, with that sympathy, it just kind of felt easy to be able to kind of connect, you know, because yeah, in the first season he has had a lot handed to him, and he was kind of, you know, trying to be the sheriff and everything, and now he's kind of taken a step back, and now he's just really he's dealing with his own personal battle.
Sure. Yeah, David, when you were creating this story and this character with the rest of the creative team, how do you frame this kind of character with an arc like this?
The pivotal moment for us in season 2 that we were really driving towards is, I think it's in episode 4, where Chuck crashes his head into the coffee table, and we always sort of labeled that one on the board as Chuck's Dark Night. And it's just, that's where he's like really, everything is caught up to him at that point. He's really taking in the weight of the death of his entire family. Basically, the man is a miserable failure at this point, and everything's sort of given up on him, right? And he just sort of hits rock bottom. And so that was really what we were driving towards, and trying to redeem him as well, because first season, it wasn't that he was a villain, it was just that he was so sure of himself in everything that he did, and he was like, he felt he was infallible, that we really sort of wanted to make him endearing to the audience, because he is such a lovely character.
It's true. I like him so much more this season.
Me too.
Can you talk a bit about the relationship with Wiley and baby Jason?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because Wiley and Chuck have, it's a small town. They had obviously known each other and in the first season, but they didn't really have a whole lot of, stuff together. And then it went from that to being, now Chuck is so involved in this baby's life, and, wants to be there for Wiley, and that he wants to protect any way he can. So it's just been, I love their relationship.
Yeah, me
I think,
too.
yeah, it was just, even that first scene in the first episode of season 2 where they're standing looking at the old, the old school and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just such a lovely moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I wish we had that moniker, though, to go from Chuck Lots to Chuck Not a Lots.
Yeah.
Check not a lot. Oh.
Let's go on Twitter.
So now, Mercedes, I want to talk to you, because Renee also is another character who's had this huge swing.
Yeah.
And I feel like in some scenes she shows herself to be this very strong leader, and in some scenes she's an extremely self-interested lone wolf. Do you feel like she is one or the other?
No, I feel like she's a little bit of both, and I feel like she knows how to pick and choose, like, which direction to go in for each situation she encounters, because sometimes you do have to make the tough decisions, be a leader, and be strong. And then there's other times when you need to step back and away from everyone and kind of just do things for yourself,
Right.
right?
How does it feel for you as an actor to do something that you think maybe you can predict that the audience is not necessarily going to like?
Oh boy. Okay, so when we were reading the script and I found out what I had to do to Gord, the fan favorite, lovely Gord, who everyone loves, that was tough for me. And the reaction on Twitter especially was a bit difficult. I had a lot of like, I hate you, she should die. Okay, like it was intense.
I'm taking notes, right?
No, it was intense. There were some mean things that were said, but I was like, it's a character, right?
In a way, it means you're doing your job
I'm
right.
doing my job, and I had to after I started liking all of them and replying, be like, oh, thank you so much.
Retweet.
Because if my character was able to have that type of impact on you, for you to reach out to me and tell me how much you hate me, well, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for my acting job.
It's great. It's true, and you're such a lovely person in real life. I mean, you're both such lovely people in real life. And on this show, you both do things where I want to be like, stop it!
Oh, yeah,
Don't do that!
yeah.
So it's great. It's all acting. They're really nice. So I'd love to hear about you liking the fans' comments is such a smart strategy. You should publish a book about
I
that.
should.
That's great. Speaking of the fans, we have so many wonderful engaged fans. Thank you all for all of the tweets and all of the love you share with us on social media. And right now we have our final Superfan winner. Her name is Michelle, and she and Angelina have some questions for the cast.
Thanks, Nicole, and thank you to everyone who entered our Quarantined in Toronto Superfan contest. We had so many amazing entries, and I'm joined by our Superfan, Michelle, from Scarborough, Ontario. How excited are you to be here on our finale episode?
I'm super excited, super excited.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. All right, so Michelle, what would you like to ask our cast?
So my first question is, how did you react to the script for season 2?
That's a good question. And then you had a second one, right?
Yes, my second question was for Ryan specifically. Your character is seen as the negotiator, so I was just wondering how easy or hard was it to adjust to the character?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's too bad that Ryan isn't here. Is he, Nicole?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Angelina, because actually, out back by the barn, I found two more lovely between stars. We have Shaylin Pierre-Dixon, who plays Franny. Shaylin, welcome back.
Hey, thank you.
So happy to have you.
Thanks.
And we have Ryan Allen, who plays everyone's big brother, Gord. How are you?
I'm
I'm alive, so that's great.
You're here.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you that question that Michelle just asked. Gord is the negotiator of Pretty Lake. He's sort of the peacemaker. How did you create that role? Was that hard for you?
I think what worked best was to take each person and kind of see the world through their eyes. What do they want? How are they trying to get it? And then try and see what are the similarities. Because at the end of the day, I think most human beings all kind of want the same thing,
Sure.
right? So, and if you can find common ground, then you have something to stand on.
Is that what you're like in real life?
Yes.
I feel like that's actually a really good strategy.
Well, it's just, it's easier to make friends when you can see through their eyes. Empathy, sympathy, all those wonderful words.
Were there any characters that you really found you were not able to relate to?
Definitely Renee. I think
Oh.
she was not cool.
Oh, do you two?
Oh,
do you
shoot,
have
you're
anything
right
to say to
there.
each
Oh my
other?
gosh. Can we bury the hatchet?
We could bury it,
Psych.
but I'm saying you did what you needed to do for your sister, and I did what I needed to do for my brother.
Yeah, I know.
And mistakes happen. I'm sorry that you had to die.
I'm really sorry.
I really am. But I was doing what I thought was best in that moment for my brother. You feel me? Okay.
That was so cathartic. I feel healed. How do you feel?
My stomach feels better.
That's amazing. Okay, so then when we got to the season 2 scripts, when you received them after having done season 1, what was your reaction, Justin?
Wow. It was it was great. I was just really excited to get started and read them. And I remember my feeling of reading episode 2 with Samantha, rest in peace, when she gets the old bullet to the head. And I was just at the edge of my seat. It was fantastic.
That's amazing. Shaylin, how about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It was great being able to have a second season, of course. And just being able to read it with the cast was kind of cool. First time we didn't get to do that first season, so it was cool doing it that season. But just reading how everything changes in the second season and how the characters evolve is really, really cool.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And Ryan, what did you think?
I thought, I gotta get another job. I thought what really excited me was the relationship that Gord got to have with Ronnie. There's some bromance moments between Gord and Ronnie, which really excited me because in the first season, there was a bit of animosity, right? And it's nice to bury the hatchet and move forward.
I feel like you're bearing a lot of hatchets tonight.
There's a theme.
That's good. I like that. And then for you, Mercedes, when you came on board the cast and you had no idea, this is all new to you, what did you think when you read it?
I wanted to get started. I was excited. I was also interested in the whole romance aspect with Ronnie, the strength, the gun. I'm I get to hold a gun right now. Let's do this.
Wait
So I
till
had
later
fun.
on in this show. Just you wait. So had you ever done anything with firearms and stuff before? Both of you
No.
actually, Shaylin and
No,
Mercedes both.
no, it was really exciting though, being able to kind of see how it works
Yeah.
and just being able to hold it.
Yeah, it was heavy. I was like, okay.
It was really heavy.
Wow. So seeing you two together actually just puts me in mind of that fantastic scene at the end of this episode where you sort of make peace with each other. Can you talk a little bit about that scene?
Yeah, well, I feel that it's good that they were able to talk it through and apologize to each other and they could be sympathetic to each other because they both lost the same
Lost
thing.
someone.
Yeah,
right?
that they love.
And I think it was important for them to realize there's so much ahead of us.
Yeah.
There's so much in store for us. So let's not look back. Let's try to focus on the positive and where we're gonna go from
Yeah,
there. So
and it's good that they were able to express their mistakes and how they were able to say it to each
Boom.
other. And,
See,
yeah,
this is
isn't this great?
Aw. It's such a nice scene though, because I feel like that reconciliation, it's so in character for both of you. But it's very subtle and it's a little bit gruff, but there's something really tender about it. And it's not the kind of conversation that you often see two young women having on television. There's a depth to it
Yeah.
that I think is really lovely. I mean, I feel like in a way, both of you are sort of strong feminist icons for these two characters. How do you feel about that?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that we make tough decisions and we go down paths that people usually wouldn't take. But
yeah,
that's
but it's all for the best. They think
yes.
it's for the best for their family and for themselves.
That's lovely.
I love it.
I like
Yeah.
that. Now, Justin,
Yeah.
you have a bit of a reputation with this cast
Oh,
because
I
when
do.
I talk to people about who plays pranks on set and who's the funny one and who's the goofy one, your name comes up
Quite a bit.
quite a lot. Yeah, is that accurate?
Here's the thing. Yeah, yes, I've heard that as well. But I blame Jim Watson.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, he starts it all.
and you just
I just carry it. Yeah, you know, we both have our share, but he starts it. He's the instigator.
You know what's really funny? When I interviewed Jeanette a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
I was asking her about her relationships with all the different actors and the characters on the show, and she was like, "Oh, well, you know, Chuck adds so much comedy. Like Chuck's such a funny character." And I was like, "Is he?"
You know, he is hilarious, especially when yeah.
And then she was like, "I think I might be mixing up Justin being funny with Chuck being funny because we have so much fun together."
Yeah, I mean, Chuck is not very funny, but yeah, I don't know. I just well, Jeanette and I also had a lot in common on set because we both, you know, we love comedy as well, right? So we both bonded over that quite a bit. So she probably meant me. Not Chuck. Yeah. Maybe after he hit his head, he got a little bit of a comedic bug.
Oh, that's so funny. Poor Chuck. Well, that's amazing. So we have this amazing website. It's citytv.com/between, and it is completely populated with all kinds of really cool stuff. So even though the season is over, if you want to get a little bit more of your between fix, there's lots you can do online, and Angelina and David Cormack are going to tell us all about it.
Thanks, Nicole. Now, first off, I wanted to share with you the artwork that I created for this week's episode, featuring Wiley and Adam at the grocery store with baby Jason. You can see my pieces from previous weeks on social media. Now, David and I are here to tell you about all of the cool content that we've shared this season. Last week, we shared our interactive map, delving deeper into the town of Pretty Lake and learning more about your favorite spots.
We also had our profiler quiz, which I was Wiley, and I think you were your favorite
I was
character.
Gord,
Yeah,
yep.
you were. You can head on over to citytv.com/between to find out which between character you're most like. And speaking of our website, have you visited it yet? Because if you haven't, you can find out all of the episodes for season 1 and season 2 of Between, plus all of the episodes of the digital after show for Inside Between and the webisodes and so much more, including the photo galleries. So head on over.
The photo gallery is really
Yeah.
good. And just because season 2 is over doesn't mean we're leaving you high and dry. Make sure you never miss a Between update. Follow us on social media. It's at Between Series. We've got Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook. And speaking of that, we've got some awesome fan comments that we'd like to highlight this week.
They're really good.
Yeah, first of all, almost every single one of you has been begging for season 3.
Which I love.
Yes.
You all have my heart for that.
We'll be sure to keep you posted. So it's Sierra Pyle says, I freaking love this show. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you are.
Sierra. We love you too. And Tom Melissa's asks, what's a moment from the show that you're proud of?
Ooh, that's
Do you
a
have an
great
answer,
one.
David?
Okay, so if I'm going to be completely honest, I have to go back to season 1, actually right before season 1, and this was a moment for me in my life and career where art and commerce kind of lined up, and I was signing the first check for someone on the show, and that's a pretty cool moment where it's
Yeah.
like we're actually making this.
It's real.
It's totally real,
Yeah.
and not only that, we're doing, we're creating great art, and I'm employing lots of people at the same time, and that was a fantastic feeling for all of us on the production side to be in that
So
position.
official. Like
Yeah, I
signing the
know.
check.
But
I love
if
it.
I had to say like my proudest moment, it'd be the tiger.
Oh yeah, the tiger was great.
Yeah.
Okay, great answer. Let's go to Nicole for some answers from our cast.
Thank you, Angelina. Well, as it happens, I found 2 more Between Stars lurking, ironically, by the storage closet. Please say hello to Jack Murray, who plays Mark on the show. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. It's a little family reunion we got.
It's so nice. And beside Jack on the sofa is Samantha Monroe, who plays Stacy. How are you, Sam?
I'm fabulous. Thanks for asking.
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
That's great. So, okay, this question, I want you to sort of dig deep, and it's very personal, and I want you to be honest, not modest. Don't be modest. So what is your personal proudest moment from working on Between? Justin, let's start with you.
You know, I think I just remember waking up to logging into Twitter and seeing a season 2 renewal. And I think on behalf of like all of us, I thought we all, did a great job in season 1. So it was nice to see that it was kind of recognized and that we got to continue it.
That's amazing. Who did you tell? Did you message someone right away?
Yeah, I think I called my girlfriend right away. I called my mom. I, And then, yeah, just started making the calls and retweeting and all that stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Jack, how about you? What was your proudest moment?
Well, for me, I guess it was I overcame a bit of personal adversity because, like, just less than a week before we started shooting, I broke my foot in a freak accident. People don't know this, but the limping that you see from Mark is essentially me hobbling around on a broken foot. And I just remember when it happened, I had a mini panic attack because I was like, oh my God, we're shooting. But luckily, the producers and everyone involved with the show was able to sort of, you know, move some things around. And that first scene where you see me get into a fight with Eric, they were able to add the little stabs so that, you know, my limp is there. And yeah, so just being able to just work through it and, you know, complete the season and, you know, be tough about it. And yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
I would never have known. I didn't even really notice his limp that much, and when I did, it seemed very much just in character. And
Yeah. So if anyone thinks that my limp was, you know, fake or inconsistent, like that was the most legit limp in the history of television.
Ever.
Just so you know.
What did you have on your foot? Was it one of those big plastic casts?
Well, I
or-
had an air cast, and then so like, yeah, so I mean, we'd be waking up at 4 a.m. I'd be like hobbling around my apartment, like with a crutch, like trying to shower, like, you know, going
Just
off
picture
to
your one
Hamilton.
foot sticking out of the
Yeah,
shower
no,
while you're...
you know, and like, you know, just trying to like run my lines and, you know, get into set and, yeah, and just doing it. And then, yeah, we were lucky that I had these, I don't know if people noticed, but I had giant boots. So I basically like taped up my foot and put it in the boot, and I was able to just sort of walk around on my heel, so.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
I've broken my ankle before, and it's hard to lose your mobility like that. It really throws your whole schedule apart. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's
I
impressive.
kept bumping him in the foot a lot. Why is it that happens, you know? Whenever somebody breaks their toe, you constantly have it stepped on. You never had it stepped on before, but as soon as it's broken.
Anything you want to say to her about that?
I'm really sorry. If I
No,
impeded
no,
the healing process, I'm sorry.
No, it's true. My girlfriend was always, you know, sitting on it, and my dog was jumping on it. I mean, it's just something about a broken foot. People just like hurting it.
Is it better now?
No, it's it's 100%, and it's been like that for the last couple months.
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad. That's good.
Mhm.
That's a great story. Thank you. Shaylin, what about you? What was your proudest moment?
Well, probably being able to do action with Mercedes. When I shot her, we got to do kind of like a fight scene. It was really small, but I really like action movies, and it was really cool to be able to do action.
What did you learn about doing action sequences you didn't know before?
It's hard. You have to do a lot of steps, and it's you have to practice a lot, and there's a lot of movement with it. You have to also, you have to act, of course, because that's what we're doing, but it's just another thing to add on while you're doing your job.
Good for you, Mercedes. How did she do?
She did good. She did really well. I was shot. I ended up on the floor. So it was good. Yeah. I think it's like it's interesting because it's like you want to be safe, you want to do everything safely and get the job done properly, but still have all that emotion and make it look like it's hurting them when it's really not.
It looks really good. It's a good scene.
Thanks.
Nice work, Shay.
Thanks.
How about you, Sam? What was your proudest personal moment?
Our first day on set was ginormous. It was so big. We had like 10 scenes, and it was all the lines that we ever had ever in one day, and it was extremely stressful. We had everything except for the other side of the door. When he's locked in the closet, I don't know if anybody knows this or cares, but it's actually, he wasn't on the other side of the closet.
I was in Hamilton.
So it was shot two completely different places, but for me, I was really proud that that when that day was over, I felt like I really accomplished something just because it was so stressful as an actor, and I was glad that I got to do that.
Good for you. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you don't know about film and TV production, often all of the scenes that happen in one location, it's called block shooting. They all happen on the same day, because that way you're able to go to that location, use it all for one day, and then you go everywhere else. You wind up shooting things out of sync. And yeah, it can be really intense. I can't believe you did 10 scenes.
Oh, it was a big day. Like, we had my very first sex scene ever. We had like a crying scene at the bar. We had like all the lines, all of the lines, every last line that there was to have. Yeah, it was a big day.
Well, that's amazing. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I would not have known that.
I was pretty proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey.
Hey.
Mercedes, how about you? What was your proudest moment?
My proudest moment would have to be letting myself get there emotionally with my little brother in the back of the truck. That scene was really difficult for me, but I think it all worked out. So I was proud that I got there, you know?
What did you do to get there?
I actually pictured my little brothers in the back there, and they have like similar haircuts when they were that age, and it actually reminded me so strongly of them that, yeah, it became a lot easier than I thought it would be. But yeah, it was good. I thought it was good.
It's a really moving scene. I mean, I know you and I know your little siblings, so I was just like, oh no, no, no. I could see that you were picturing like a real thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was lovely. Good work. Yeah. Ryan, how about you, friend?
I gotta say, mine is perhaps not personal. It's more of a group thing, and I kind of cherish those things a little bit more. And it's funny, it ties into exactly what we're talking. It was the same day, that very first day. It's the scene where Gord is coming to challenge Mark to see if he's.
Where's the food?
Where's the food? Tell me right now. And the director Rick had this great idea that we should shoot it all in one, and we're traveling, right? And this guy has a broken foot, and he has to. I got to walk in. He walks up to me, and then he follows me, and we walk back on a pretty fast pace. And he sucked it up and was a champ. And all the crew also had to be right on them because he's shooting everything in one, or essentially shooting like 3 different scenes, or making it all in one. So the entire crew, the actors, the camera people, the director, we all kind of came together and shot something that I thought was really cool. Because I like myself when I watch movies or TV, anything shot in one, it transitions and comes back around and then out the door. Like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. When I watched that scene, I was like, this is one take. These guys are nailing it.
Yeah, it's good.
Great.
Jack was in a severe amount of pain.
Poor
Yeah, that was the first
entire
day.
time.
They're like, cut!
There's someone with my crutches that was basically just like at the end of the scene, they'd be like, here you go, and I'd have to like crutch back to the
You're a
one.
champ, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
That's really impressive. Way to go. All right. So, Angelina, coming up in the show, is going to do an in-depth interview with Jeanette McCurdy, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. But before we get there, I believe she has a little something or someone else up her sleeve.
Thanks, Nicole, and welcome, Jim, live in studio with us. We're so happy to like actually have you alive in the studio this week.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible, especially because I can see you. You're in the flesh.
You can feel me, you can touch me, I'm real.
Oh my gosh! So I have to ask, Pat died last season. How is the character of Ghost Pat different from IRL Pat?
Well, there's a circulatory system, a
Sure.
heartbeat, you know, there's a skeletal system. I'm really here.
You can't walk through walls.
I can't walk through walls anymore. I'm no longer an X-Men. Are we allowed to say that on it? I don't care.
It's too late.
It's too late, it's been
sure
said.
is.
It's been said. No, yeah, the differences are crazy too. Like, I've been asked this question by a couple fans and I've sort of given some answers, but a kind of big difference just from like season 1, the way I had to approach it was I was Pat.
Yeah.
Right? I could do Pat things. But now I'm sort of Ronnie's conscience. So I had to look at it as how would Ronnie perceive Pat in this. I got really deep.
No, totally. And
It's
also
like-
Ghost, like
Ghost Pat, yeah.
he's so much snarkier. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
true. But
he's
that's
like,
like-
oh yeah, that's
oh yeah.
great.
This whole season I think had like an infusion of comedy that
Yes.
really kind of I think bumped it up a next level and
Totally. Ronnie had all these like lines that
Oh,
made
yeah.
me actually like laugh. I was like,
no, it was great. It was fun to do those kind of snarky little one-liners and little zingers here and there.
they're fun to like they're so fun to watch.
Yeah, the deadpan, the dead kill. Like I just loved it. It was great. It was
All right,
great.
so why don't you introduce our next clip?
Yeah, well, while we filmed season 2, I had the opportunity to interview all these wonderful, mediocre castmates. So let's take a look at what they had to say when we spoke. It was a great time. Check it out.
Did Wiley grow as a mother by going back to get Jason from the Mennonites, or did she not grow at all and learn anything because maybe the Mennonites could have taken better care of Jason, so maybe the thing that would have shown that she had grown would have been to not go back at all. I do understand where Wiley's coming from, but I would love for Wiley to dictate where things are going, because if she could get a handle on her emotions, she would be able to morally make really, really good choices, whereas other people might just be logical.
Do you see Franny having that leader position? Like, would she kind of fall into a Chuck? Would she fall into a Gord? Would she fall into a Ronnie?
Based on her upbringing and the strength that she showed, it would be really hard for her not to become a leader.
So this cure,
The cure.
talking further on it, we know that it works
Yes.
and that it has some side
Really
effects.
works.
It really works.
I feel that there are a few side effects where it's like we might like have a few outbursts of like with our house, like we could have a seizure or something. It's just random outbursts.
I want to know what happens to Jason. Will he be able to age? Right?
If no cells are dying,
No
there's
cells
no
are
decay.
dying. Is he just going to be like a super smart talking baby?
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's going to be more of like a sci-fi thing, and it's going to be all, the whole world is going to have the disease.
We might start looking at, let's say that the Pretty Lakers are the only people with this ability. So now we have these superhumans, and if Ronnie's a superhuman, to me that's terrifying.
I'm hoping that there's an uprising with like the people who escaped, and they band together and they try and break these people out and steal some of the cure.
If you were basically given a second chance at life, what do they do with that second chance? You know, do they waste it, or do they go out and be, you know, everything that they hoped they could have done with their lives but thought they couldn't?
Has everybody got their game face on? Because it's time for Extreme Creaker Cans!
Now, our pretty Lakers always seem to find themselves heavily armed inside this quarantine. So tonight, we are going to determine once and for all who is the best shot in town.
This game is tournament style with one-on-one matches.
A player wins a round by shooting down more cans than his or her opponent. If any player shoots down all 3 of their cans, then their round immediately ends and that player moves on to the next round. Now, we have an odd number, so I feel like one of the hosts needs to play
this guy.
Would you represent us, Ange?
I would be honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friend. So now she's going to be taking on Mercedes, but our first pairing is a classic Pretty Lake lovers quarrel. It is Jack versus Samantha. Who do you think can win?
I can win.
But will you?
We will see.
Ooh,
But I'm feeling good.
Challenge accepted. It's back to the storage room for you if you lose. Okay, ready. On your marks. Take aim and fire. Oh, Samantha. Samantha. Oh.
Oh my God!
3 bullets, 3 cans. That was beautiful. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. Exhilarated even. This is awesome. Sit on the chair.
Jack, you have to go to the stool of shame, my friend. I'm so sorry. Sam, nice work. Okay.
Gosh. How am I supposed
Mercedes.
to follow that up?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Mercedes, Renee is the one that killed Gord, your favorite, Ange.
No.
So let that fire move into your
I
body.
don't even know how to hold this.
Avenge his
She's not
death.
experienced.
Renee,
Intimidate you.
oh, Renee's so intimidating. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Take aim and fire.
Oh.
Oh no!
Okay, shot from
I
Mercedes.
can't
Oh,
block it.
Mercedes. Mercedes.
I feel like I helped you with that last
Wow.
one.
Mercedes, how do you feel?
This is nothing.
This game is rigged.
This is a piece of cake.
You did a great job, but you get to go to the stool of shame. I love you.
Thank you.
Off you go. Okay, thank you so much. Over here. Ooh, David Cormican versus Ryan. Everyone's big brother versus the boss. Who's gonna win?
Well, I don't want to speak too candidly, but I'm going to cannibalize the competition.
Oh, wow.
Do it in
Wow.
threes. Do it in threes.
Well, if anyone can, David Cormac can.
Nice.
He's not a Cormacant.
Hey.
Oh.
Ryan, what's gonna happen? What do you think?
Violence is never really the answer, but this looks like good, clean fun. So let's see what happens.
Here we go. Take aim, my friends. On your marks. Get set. Fire. Oh, Cormican. Cormican. Come on, Ryan.
Come on, Ryan. No one wants Cormican to win.
Come on. Oh! Ryan, good try. Stool of shame for you, friend. David Cormican. How do you feel?
I feel like I vindicated myself for my last performance versus Kyle Mack.
Yeah,
where I
because you and
lost.
Kyle had a big showdown.
Yeah, it was epic. It was pretty epic.
You have a
so-
chance to win now.
Well, yeah. I've always had a chance.
Don't screw it up, okay? Over here, ooh, Jim Watson versus
Yeah.
Justin Kelly. Team Chuck versus Team Pat. Who's gonna win?
I'm shaking in my trousers.
He should be. It's over.
Okay, you ready?
What did it?
Nope.
What, I'm ready.
Take aim. 3, 2, 1, shoot! Oh, Jim. Oh, Pat. Oh!
Oh my God! So close.
I was actually worried there.
You got so bro there.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That was like a testosterone
I know.
explosion.
It's somewhere inside.
Wow.
See, Mom, I told
There's
you.
nothing. Justin.
I'll come join you on the.
Justin, how do you feel, Justin?
Well, I just.
You just.
He feels like a loser. I can
Oh,
answer for him.
ouch.
But
Be
look how
gracious.
good this.
I know, this is good though, this is good. Okay,
good.
okay. So this is time for the semi-final round. Now we have David Cormican versus Samantha. You two both do very well in the games on this show. What's gonna happen now?
I have no puns left, so I don't know.
I feel like I made it.
Okay.
Finally made it. Here we go.
I'm excited. We're all rooting for you both. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, fire! Ooh, tied. Samantha. Tied game, tied game. Oh!
No, Sam!
Had it.
So
All right.
Up top.
Sam,
Up
Sam,
top.
Sam.
did well.
Oh,
That
Sam. You
I was
just
nervous.
by a second, you did really
Yeah,
well.
okay,
That was
well,
great.
thank you. I'm not going to get too confident.
No, you're
just
moving
yet.
into the finals. All right. Samantha, really nice. You almost had it. So close. You did great. So close. Okay, over here, semifinal round. Jim Watson versus Mercedes Morris. Who's gonna win?
I have no idea. I'm terrified.
Mercedes is so focused, and Jim, I feel like you're
I'm sweating.
You're like vibrating with
lot.
energy. Okay, you ready? Take aim and fire. Jim,
Oh,
Jim.
come on.
Mercedes, come on. Mercedes, come on, Mercedes.
No.
Out of bullets.
Are we
Mercedes, come on.
out?
I think you have one more bullet. Oh. There it is, Jim.
Oh, I
You won. You got more cans down.
You get all 3 cans down.
Well, he got more cans
How
down.
many do you have up there?
I say we
One,
reload these guns.
I'm sorry. You know, Renee's not one to lose graciously, but I know Mercedes is.
Yep.
Buddy, you did great.
She's like, we'll see.
She's in character. She's fully in character.
All right, Jim, you're moving on to the finals.
My next victim.
You're playing the boss.
Isn't this so appropriate? I do need a reloaded gun, though.
Yeah, you
Oh, yeah,
should.
get a fresh gun, fresh gun.
I'll at least give you that
Okay,
much.
okay, here it comes. I would really like
Here,
for you
I'll
two to
even-
do the forehead touch like TIE fighters. Just do the,
Like Muay Thai?
yeah, like right in the eyes.
Do you want
with the
more
forehead.
Cormacan?
More Cormacan.
Look at that. how,
That
how
smells
did that feel?
amazing. It smells like daisies and lavender.
All right, you ready? Take aim. 3, 2, 1, fire.
Oh, my.
Oh, Cormacan! Oh,
Even with a slow start.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
2 in 1 dart.
That was really good.
Oh,
I can't.
I can't believe that. I mean, I can. I have to. You
can
I have
believe
to
it.
believe it.
That sucked.
Wow.
Oh, that was amazing.
I have to thank my mom and my dad, and I have to thank Jim for losing.
I have a really strong urge to like lift
Oh,
you up on a
man.
chair now and like, I don't know, I feel like
Yeah.
you need to be carried, you
I
know,
can be hoisted.
a parade.
I don't know, it seems like he'd win on a technicality or
Hold
something.
on, now. Let me knock that down for you.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay,
I'll
so
shut
the
up,
winner
I'll shut
of
up.
Extreme Creaker Cans, David Cormacan, living up to his name. Nice work, my friends.
incredible.
And your prize, David,
Yeah.
to feed the family, you get a large can of, I don't know what, it's got a dent in it too, so I don't think you should eat this
It's
because
like mystery meat.
it's some sort of mystery meat. Congratulations.
Thank you. This is
Keep that.
pretty cool. It's my first can.
I'm glad I
Oh,
lost.
nice. All right, now Angelina and Jim, take it away.
Okay, so Jim is like, he's a pretty funny guy.
That's what it says on the teleprompter, yes.
That's why I'm saying it. So you definitely had a lot of fun on set interviewing the cast.
So much fun. It's so, like, look at these guys. They're amazing.
They're
All of them.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at some of your Between Us interviews.
Yeah, let's do it. What do you think is going to happen next? Season 3? Season 4? Season 5? Season 26?
I hope it happens in the summer.
Turn into vampires.
Kind of like Ghostbusters it out. Like, I wish we could all have like a uniform and we all go off and like fight crime.
We're all going to be superheroes over here.
I hope I can fly. That's all I gotta say.
Telekinesis?
Telepathy. All I'm hearing is X-Men.
That'd be great. Jeanette I don't like talking about myself in third person. Got in a car one day and somebody from transport was like hearing fall for season 3. And I was like, I haven't heard a damn thing.
Pretty smooth, pretty easy transition.
As smooth as this lake water.
Yeah, smooth as the Ontario lake water. Big brother goes home, and I mean home. We have Ronnie here, the youngest. In real life, he's the oldest by like 15 years. I'm the middle brother, and she's the wee one. She's the youngest on the cast. Who is your favorite person to work with? I know you've kind of just been around mostly Kyle Mack, and he's the worst to work with. We're the only two people who mess up on camera, and it's usually my fault.
I barely ever look at Pat. I just do everything away from him.
He's a very selfish actor, he is. Very proud of my little brother. Thank you.
I can't stand my brother.
She killed Gord. Cold-blooded murder.
I was like, the fandom is all gonna turn on Renee and be like,
Fandom is gonna turn.
What would happen if Gord and Pat got into it?
It would have been great. We would have just ended up having a coffee or something after. I
Probably,
think.
just talking.
We're all good friends here on set. It's a great set to be on.
Mainly.
There's a couple, Justin Kelly. And this little kind of friendship that you guys have been building. We got to figure out a name for you, like
Franison.
Franison, that's
Yes.
it. Hashtag Franison.
Yeah.
That's it.
Harrison, 2020 for president.
I would be getting puppies, mad puppies for everybody.
Hello, Jeanette, and thank you so much for joining us all the way from LA. We're so happy to have you here with us.
Sorry.
No,
I had
don't
an
worry.
untimely itch there. I was scratching like
No, it's perfect. It's like candid. It's good. So,
Okay,
congratulations on season 2 of Between. It was amazing.
Yay! I'm so glad you liked it. I really enjoyed shooting it, and I think, yeah, I think it was a cool departure from the first season.
Yeah, it's got a different tone, I feel. And it's
You
it's
see
so
my-
enjoyable. Look at little pup in the crowd. Look at that little sleepy face. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, so I have to ask, what was one of your favorite moments from filming season 2?
Ooh, I love the addition of Mercedes Morris and Stephen Graham into the cast. I think they added a lot, so any scenes that I got to do with either of them were just really fun.
Yeah, it's like an awesome energy between you guys. You can tell when you're watching it.
Yeah, Mercedes is a total badass. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Sweet.
She is, though. She is one.
Yeah, she's so cool, and I really liked kind of the arc that happened between Wiley and Renee.
Well, speaking of Wiley's arc, like, how do you feel like she grew this season?
A lot less bitchy.
Yeah.
I think that she got in touch with her maternal instincts and became a lot more accountable and had a lot more opinions about things. She wasn't just kind of pandering around.
She wanted to like promote change, I feel, within the group of people in Pretty Lake, for sure.
Yeah, she made up her mind about some things, whether other people liked her decisions or not, and she committed to those decisions.
Well, that's a good thing. And like, speaking of motherhood and baby Jason, was it hard to work with a baby on set, or was it easy?
I think that kid was the best actor in the entire show. He was so good and cooperative. One time I was like trudging through the snow with him, and he just like wouldn't cry.
You're like, please cry, baby.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I'm like sitting there crying, looking bad, and the baby's not crying.
The baby's just like, yeah, I do this every day. I'm a professional actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeanette, you have such an incredible fan base. Is there anything that you would like to say as a special shout out to your fans?
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. I'm really glad for those of you who did, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Hope that you liked all the characters and liked all the storylines. And if the show comes back, I hope that you watch it again. And if you don't, I don't like you.
Well, fingers crossed that we get a season 3. So
Yeah.
now we'd like to share with you our Twitter poll for this week, Jeanette. So we have asked the fans which pairing they ship the most. 57% said Wiley and Adam.
Wadham.
18% said Franny and Harrison.
Okay.
Fair enough, right? 17%
Yeah.
said Ronnie and Renee. And we had a lot of people who wrote in.
Ronnie.
We had a lot of people who wrote in and said Stacy and Mark, as well as some
Yeah.
people who were hopeful for Chuck and Wiley.
That's weird. That is incest.
Yeah, some interesting choices there. So
Yeah.
I mean, you might be a little bit biased, but do you have a favorite ship on the show?
I kind of like Ronnie. I think it's like the edgy,
The bad
couple
guys.
where, yeah, like things go wrong all the time and like they treat each other poorly, but they're in love. But yeah, I definitely like Wadham. Sure.
I mean, that of all the ship names, that is the most fun to say, and there's something to be said of that.
It sounds like a household product. Like, get your Wadham.
Get your Wadham. Do not allow pets or children to swallow. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jeanette. And now let's go join Jeanette. Let's go into join Jeanette and Nicole and hear what the rest of the cast have to say about our Twitter poll results.
Thank you so much, Angelina. And hello, Jeanette. Great to have you with us.
Hey. Oh, hey. Hey, guys.
Oh, wow, my God.
Her head's so big.
I know.
So I really like that question about the ships, and I'm kind of surprised to hear about the Chuck and Jeanette, the Chuck and Wiley ship. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Well, I agree with Jeanette. I think I mean, she's kind of like my stepmom. If you kind of do the math, right?
Don't do the math. Don't do the math.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. So I want to talk to all of you about your very favorite moments from the whole experience of shooting. And I'm hoping that everybody will share something personal that happened while shooting, whether it was behind the scenes or on set or with each other or with the fans, whatever it was, some kind of story that kind of encapsulates what you're going to look back on most fondly after season 2 is done. Ryan, could you go first?
Oh, from season 2?
Anywhere in the whole show.
The one that stands out the most from both seasons was at the end of season 1, when we find out that Wiley's baby is a lot. There's there's that scene in the church. And I believe it was the very first time that all of us had been in the same scene together. And set off by our fearless leader, Jeanette, was of this laughing brigade that did not stop. In between every take, we would laugh so hard, and by the end of the day, my face and my stomach were aching me. But we pulled it together for in between, but it was close a few times. It was real close.
Big cast scenes are hard, right? You guys all get together, and there's so much energy in the room.
So yeah, a lot of people were having a lot of fun.
Jeanette, was it really you that set it off?
Oh yeah.
I definitely am prone to laughing.
Nice, that's great. Okay, so Justin, what about you? What's your favorite memory?
I would very much like to add to that because that one stands out for me too. And the thing was that we were down one camera, so we had one poor camera guy just holding the camera over his shoulder. I remember also doing a scene where Jeanette and I are facing off, and Jim is right behind Jeanette, and he's just poking his head at me, looking at me like that. And I think that it just started a whole like mess of us laughing, and I mean, we got the stuff. It was cut together very nicely.
Yeah.
We're professionals.
Editing saved that.
Yes.
That's great. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
Shaylin, how about you?
Probably when Sam, Percy, Jordy, and I were behind scenes when we find Mark in the back, and we were playing a game. We call it the bragging game, and we would make up a thing. Like we'd say, I went to Mars the other day and found this, and then someone would add, well, when I went to Mars, and it would just keep on going, and that just was great. It was so much fun.
It was fun.
That's awesome.
2 a.m. kind of chat.
Was it 2 a.m.? Was it really
Yeah,
late?
it was late. Like, it was really funny, too. At 2 a.m., everything's very funny. So, yeah, we were killing ourselves. We kept getting shushed.
Yeah.
Forever shushed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. Mercedes, how about you?
One of my favorite memories was teaching Jack and Kyle about Snapchat. Sorry, it was like lunchtime one day, and I like put the filter, the like pink kitty on Kyle, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And it was really funny. And now I believe both of them have it and utilize it, so I'm very proud of doing that as well.
The pink hat or
Yeah,
Snapchat?
Yeah, it was funny. I didn't know they didn't know how to use it, and we had a blast with it that lunch.
Oh, that's great. Jack, how about you?
Oh wow. I guess a couple scenes. One scene from this past season, like another sort of whole gang kind of scene was the scene at the end of episode 5, where everyone is outside. It was literally a snowstorm. There was so much snow just piling on Jeanette's head and Mercedes' head, and it was like -20. Everyone was basically just freezing and singing to themselves, but it was like, it built a camaraderie between like just the cast and the crew. Like we were basically in the middle of the snowstorm, and I think, you know, fans go back and rewatch that scene and you'll see that it's literally like one of the worst snowstorms ever. And we're acting, and well, they're acting. I was just kind of standing around. I was just enjoying it. It was fun. It was great. Yeah.
I thought the snow was fake because there's so much of it. But
No, it was in our eyelashes, and we were freezing. My dreads were completely covered. Every time they said cut, they would have to come and dust it off. But you remember that, right? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Horrible. I was so cold.
Jeanette, you're not used to weather like that, right? Like Los Angeles is sunny. How was that for you?
Daunting. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, David, do you have a favorite besides winning this can?
Yeah, exactly. Finally, in your face, Kyle Mack. You can hold it for now. But well, since I'm not on set as much as these guys are, I'm going to pull a moment from the creation of the second season. It was actually when we were creating the character of Renee, which was a pretty cool moment. I mean, it was over many different conversations, but it was when we'd land on who the character is, and then we had to create what is this character going to look like. And so we brought in Brenda Schenner, our costume designer, and Gordon Barnes, who's our production designer, who's doing the look of the Horde. And so the two of them, working with myself and Mike McGowan and Rick Boda, we really all sort of came together and finally came up with our goddess warrior. And that was like that big eureka moment where like, we've got it. This is the Horde. This is a new look. This is so perfect. And then when you came in and you started rocking the dreads and everything, and it was just, that was a pretty cool moment.
That's great. It's such an iconic looking character. I always say, like, if you could be a character for Halloween, you know it's a good costume design.
Yeah.
I feel like you could totally be Renee for Halloween. Actually, a lot of the characters on the show, I feel like you could be them for Halloween.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, not at the same time, but...
Death Gord. Samantha, what about you? Did you favorite role?
Actually, it's funny because Jack said that, and I completely agree with him. It was just that kind of a day where everybody was there, and because all of us have different plot lines and different storylines, we never really get to talk to each other. So I remember meeting people at the wrap party being like, it's so nice to meet, you're on the show, great. But it was actually the first day I got to work with Jeanette, and it was so cool, like getting to meet her, and it was just like, it was completely awesome just getting to know everybody. And yeah, I felt like we all kind of became friends on that day. It was awesome.
That's so nice. Yeah. And Jim, how about you?
Oh, okay. Well, I got two, and I'll do them kind of quick. My first day of shooting, a lot of people don't know this, was the death scene. So it was like me and Justin rocking a couple guns, and then me going out in a blaze of glory. So that was just kind of weird.
I drove up to set with you that day.
You did, yeah.
We met for the first time.
Yeah, you drove me to set that day. That's crazy. And so that was my first day on set, and I'm like, oh, I die. Okay, great. I hadn't even read that far into the script. That was surprising. But then my favorite all-time moment, which I think was, I think you'll remember this, Jeanette. Like, we got a snowstorm in the first season, and everyone kind of got stuck in Hamilton when we were shooting. And I lived there. So we all sort of went out as a group to a local pop shop, as they say.
Some wobbly pops.
Some wobbly pops, and did a few little dance moves. And it was just an amazing night. Justin had a hilarious encounter. Jeanette bailed in the snow. So it was amazing.
What does bailed mean? That means you fell down?
She fell hard.
Is it ice?
I did.
I had to piggyback.
Yeah, I did. And then Ryan had to carry her. It was just an amazing night, and it was kind of, I think, a first chance we all really got to really hang out together. And I think it was really cool.
Didn't we wind up at like an A&W or something?
Yeah. We won't tell what time of morning
That's the most
it was.
Hamilton sentence.
That is the most Hamilton sentence.
Jeanette, did you have a favorite memory from the show as well?
Literally exactly what Jim just said. I think the bar was like a 70s themed thing or something, and they were just playing like Hall & Oates and stuff. It was so fun. I loved that day.
Yeah.
That's one you'll remember for sure.
Yeah.
Falling in the snow in Hamilton. Perfect. And so you guys, do you have a special message for the fans? Jeanette, did you want to say any last words?
I just thank you guys for watching. It's really cool that you've supported the show and been so enthusiastic about it.
Awesome. Anybody else want to chime in?
Okay. Hold on. I know Renee gets a lot of flack sometimes for making the wrong decisions, or decisions that maybe not everyone would agree with. And so does Franny's character, and so does Wiley. Sometimes you have to make the tough choices. You're not always going to be popular. You're not always going to be, the loved one. But be yourself. Keep being strong. Keep being positive. Keep being you, I guess. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
That's a good message. It's a great message.
I'm feeling motivated.
We want to follow that.
How do you follow that up?
I was going to say thanks for following me on Twitter, but that's not as good.
Oh, and also thanks for following me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I have to say though, the fans have been so supportive and have sent us so much great, feedback and great comments. Is there anything from a fan that you've received that really meant something to you, or any time you've interacted with a fan that was really special?
Steph.
Oh, man, Steph.
Oh, yeah.
Happy belated.
Oh, yeah.
She sends me, we actually exchanged phone numbers, and she sent me a text today, and she's like, good luck. I'm like, Steph. But it was really cool getting to meet her, and all the super fans. You guys have been so awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steph's awesome. But the day before Ryan came on, she knew, we had posted Ryan's going to be on set today. And Steph tweets at me, are you nervous, Ange? I was like, no!
The voice cries like that too.
Why would you be nervous?
Don't worry about it.
Look at his face. He's so proud.
But I love the person that created the candle for you.
Yeah.
Like the R.I.P. Gord candle. It smelled like peaches too.
Ooh. That's
Banana
brilliant.
peaches.
That was you got canned peaches
Yeah,
in
there's
there?
a lot of peaches.
Want to just
The
show that
last
off
through
one
the-
more time?
The winner. He's never gonna like let that go. You
No.
guys know that, right?
No, that was like I was stressed about that today. You know.
Yeah, you really
No.
showed it. Yeah.
One of us is gonna get a call from David at like 3 in the morning and be like, "Do you remember? Do you remember what it did to you? Do you remember what it did to you?"
All right, bye. David, all of your social media from now on, all of your avatars can just be you sitting.
The winner.
You can. Oh, you're wonderful. Well, I think in general, it's been such a pleasure to work with all of you. Congratulations on the success of the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
here's fingers
We
crossed
have
for
to
season 3.
change the hashtag from Pray for Pretty Lake to Pray for season 3.
Pray for season 3. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on this show. We love having you, and we love making Inside Between. Thanks to all of our crew behind the scenes who does their thing. We really appreciate you, and for everyone who watches and tunes in and interacts with us, you've made it such a pleasure.
It's been so great. Well, thank you, and thank you, Jeanette, for joining us all the way from LA today.
Thank you so much, Jeanette.
It's great to see you. All right, friends, that is it for Inside Between. My friends, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching, and for the last time, bye. Bye.